Cody Becker again with another Vinyl Finds video. Of course, the first video of 2020. I hope everyone had a great new year. Decent little stack to show, so I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible to not make this video too overly long. So just getting right into it. The first few things I'm going to show I actually got at the Vinyl Rescue Project. And I actually had a credit because I'm in their Vinyl Maniacs Club. I think that's what he calls it. And you pay like a yearly fee, and you spend so much money, you get so much money back. And had a few credits built up, so I actually got 2 albums for free here. And I'm going to show the first one is Hootie and the Blowfish, Fairweather Johnson, 1996 copy. This is actually not my second copy of this album. I actually got this album a long time ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago on Discogs. Actually still sealed, brand new. And I saw this one in there, and it ended up being free, so I picked it up. But there, the Hootie and the Blowfish is, I think, their second album. But picked that one up for free, and maybe I'll do like a giveaway for this one to just say there's a slight warp on it. But I haven't actually played it, so, and it says doesn't affect the play on the sticker there. But I picked that one up, ended up being free. And then another one that I picked up there that was free is Deep Purple, Book of Telesine. I'm sure I'm probably saying that wrong, and people are probably telling me that in the comments. But this is a Japanese copy. It doesn't have the OBI strip on it, but this is the 1973 pressing of the Japanese copy. But sounds fantastic. Deep Purple album I did not have, so figured I would get those 2, and it was free, so I can't really complain. And the next album I'm going to show I actually got at Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble actually had 50% off on several of their albums. Of course, a lot of the ones that I was interested in wasn't 50% off, but I actually did find Sonic Youth Dirty. This is the 2015, I think, 2015 remaster, reissue. Which sounds pretty good. Ended up being like $11 or $12 with the 50% off, so I can't really beat that. The funny thing is, this is actually the one with the misspelling of it's got sheet on there instead of shoot, and I think they actually repressed or repackaged them with the correct title later on. I'm sure it doesn't make it any more valuable or less valuable, but kind of funny how they would make that mistake. But nonetheless, pick that up at Barnes & Noble. The next few, actually the next several albums I'm going to show is stuff that I had gotten into collection that has been brought into the Vinyl Rescue Project since like June or so. And I've gotten some really amazing stuff. I've been able to check off a lot of things that I never thought I would be able to check off unless I just, bought everything on Discogs. But some really solid stuff in there. I'm just going to getting straight into and start showing what I picked out in there in the last month or so. The first being is Jethro Tull Aqualung. This is not an original copy. I've actually had an original copy of this album for probably almost 10 years now, but this is the 25th anniversary edition of Aqualung that came out in 1996, which is really sounds really amazing. I mean, probably one of my favorite Jethro Tull albums is Aqualung. So, and it's 2 LP set. The first LP is just the album remastered from front to back, and then the second LP is like some bonus stuff, like some B-sides, some different versions. Like there's a quad version of Wind Up on here, and there's an interview with Ian Anderson on here talking about Aqualung, which is pretty cool to have this on vinyl. And this is a European copy as well. I think US they might have only gotten the CD, but saw that in there, and was really interested in getting that one, so I picked that one up. And then I also picked up Faith No More Angel Dust. This is a 1982 European pressing. I think it's a UK pressing actually, but this is the one that actually has the limited edition double vinyl. It's got a bonus 12-inch with it. I mean, it's got a different. The 12-inch has a different mix of Midlife Crisis. It's got the Scream mix, and then the B-side's got Crack Hitler and Midnight Cowboy. But you know, just a tremendous album from Faith No More. Real Thing, this one, and King for a Day, Fool for a Lifetime is the other one that I've really always wanted to get original copies of, and I was able to get a really nice US pressing of this one in that collection as well. Original 1995 copy, still in the shrink wrap, but you know, amazing. And two is just really, very, very amazing albums from Faith No More, and was pretty ecstatic that I was able to get both of those ones in the collection. So definitely a lot of check marks off the Faith No More. I mean, of course, always on the lookout for other original copies, but those three are probably the three ones that I wanted the most, and that actually I have them is pretty cool. Then I also picked up Helmet's 2010 album, Seeing Eye Dog, and Helmet album that I did not have. And actually, I don't know if I ever actually came across this album before, even when it came out. But cool thing about this album is it comes with it's a 2 LP set, but you know, the first album is just, you know, Seeing Eye Dog, and then the second album is actually a Warped Tour concert they did on July 8th, 2006. Then it's got some, you know, classic Helmet songs, so kind of a cool bonus as well. But had to add that one for the Helmet collection. Then I also picked up Duff McKagan, Believe in Me. I believe this is his first solo album. Of course, Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses. I mean, I've had this album on CD for a long time, so seeing it on vinyl, definitely wanted to pick it up. But it's just a kind of really underrated solo album from Duff. But definitely fits in with the Guns N' Roses collection too. But definitely had to pick that one up. One that I honestly never even realized was, you know, issued out on vinyl. Then I also picked up an original copy of Iron Maiden, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And probably has one of my favorite Maiden songs on here, Can I Play With Madness? So, and it's always cool to kind of come across the original Iron Maiden stuff, which, I mean, it's kind of something I don't see all the time. And if I do see it, it's usually not in great condition. This one is definitely in like perfect condition. So definitely was glad to add that one. And then I also was able to get an original copy of Judas Priest, a Painkiller, original 1990 South Korean pressing actually of Painkiller, and definitely was really ecstatic to pick that up. Great album from Judas Priest. I mean, love the Painkiller album and the title track of this album, Painkiller. Just an amazing album all the way through, and definitely one that I was happy to be able to add. The next 4 albums I'm going to show are actually all Halloween albums. This one is a picture disc German pressing of Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1. And I can honestly say, you know, amazing album from Halloween. And this is probably one of the best sounding picture discs I've ever actually played. It sounds, you know, pretty stellar for a picture disc, but definitely pretty happy to find that one in there. And then I also picked up Pink Bubbles Go Ape, an original 1991 South Korean pressing, and I also picked up an original 1993 pressing of Chameleon. Probably not my 2 favorite Halloween albums, especially this one. Although there's, you know, several pretty solid songs on there, and I don't think that they're necessarily, you know, bad albums, especially this one. It just doesn't really sound kind of like the earlier Halloween stuff from like the 80s, but definitely I saw them in there, and definitely had to add some of the 90s Halloween stuff to them. And they're not bad albums by any means, just not exactly the same type of sound as the 80s stuff, but nonetheless, not bad albums by any means. And I also picked up a kind of a newer Halloween. This is the 2015 album, My God-Given Right, and this is the one on blue vinyl that they only pressed 500 of. So definitely had to pick that one up. And I think this one is a German copy, I want to say, but picked that one up, and just kind of been getting a little kind of on a Halloween kick lately, seeing all this stuff from the collection and just picking it up. Then I also picked up an original 1996 Australian copy of Freak Show on vinyl from Silverchair. Pretty stoked to find that one in there, and not a big fan of the cover of this one for the vinyl, the original vinyl one, just kind of like in this like yellow vanilla looking sleeve, and just with a sticker on there that says Freak Show. And of course I do have the reissue that came out with like 4 or 5 years ago, and I like how the reissues actually split into 2 LPs, but this one just on 1 LP. It's on the yellow one, on yellow vinyl, and this one does have a bonus track on it though, so definitely cool that that it is on there, because the bonus track is not on the reissue on vinyl. But for them cramming all of it into 1 LP doesn't sound the worst, but definitely glad to add that Silverchair. And I also picked up Ugly Kid Joe, as ugly as I Want to Be EP. Kind of always on the lookout for Ugly Kid Joe, especially the earlier stuff, and you don't see it that often. At least I don't come across it that often. And of course this one is on blue vinyl. Of course, Everything About You, I kind of one of their, probably the song that they're honestly most known for, probably courtesy of Wayne's World. I think the song's in one of the Wayne's World movies, but it's also on their like first, or their, I don't know if it's their first album or their biggest. It's the album that came out in like '91. The name honestly escapes me right now, but it is on this one as well. And they actually have a pretty cool cover of Sweet Leaf. So definitely pretty ecstatic to pick that one up. And I also picked up a few Megadeth albums from that collection. Picked up System Has Failed. This is the music on vinyl version on purple vinyl. I don't remember how many they pressed on the purple vinyl, but I'm sure it was like 1,000 or 1,500. This one's numbered 730. And I know they recently came out with another reissue of this album. I think last year, or not too long ago. That's just something like black vinyl. I also picked up the 2009 Endgame album, which is kind of crazy. This album's 10 years old, but never had it, and it kind of came out like right before I started collecting vinyl, so had that one. And then that's all the stuff that I've actually had that I've picked up from the collection. Next few things I'm going to show is just stuff I got online. The first is Local H. This is the newest single that they just came out with. Of course, it's got the new song Patrick Bateman on there, and the B-side is We Are the Road Crew. Of course, the cover of the Motorhead song. Really looking forward to the new Local H album. Pretty much anything these guys release, I will buy. Big Local H fan. And really like the new song, the Patrick Bateman song. Really looking forward to their new album. Hoping that they come closer to me on their tour and add some more dates. But the last thing I'm going to show is actually one that I've been searching for a while. It's Megadeth Countdown to Extinction. And this is actually a South Korean pressing as well. I've been kind of on the hunt for this album for a long time, and one finally popped up for, honestly, I thought it was a pretty fair price, so I jumped on it. And this actually, I had to buy it from someone from South Korea. And came, in a couple weeks, so didn't take super long time to get to me. And I have to say, it's like pretty minty. The vinyl honestly looks like it's never been played. There's no pops or skips or anything on it, so definitely happy that I pulled the trigger and bought it. And I'm sure now that I did, I'm probably going to find it in the collection I've been buying so much stuff from. But that is all the stuff that I've actually had to show within the last month or so. But hope everyone has a great year, and hope find some more records. And definitely very anxious for the rumored Pearl Jam album news, which seems like it's a pretty surefire. I think that's going to happen, and hopefully some more tour dates to follow. I've heard some rumored dates And I kind of hoping that they come closer to Indiana. Some of the tour date rumors that I've seen seem kind of on the East Coast, kind of like it would be kind of a hard thing to do, to be able to get time off work to actually just do that, especially just for one show. I did hear that Nashville, I think, might be a possibility tour date stop. So if that happens, I would definitely have to consider it. But hopefully it's not on a weekday. Hopefully it's on a weekend. But that's really all I have to say. Definitely looking forward to see what 2020 has in store. So far, though, it's looking good with, Local H coming out with a new album. Definitely seems like there's a really good chance that Pearl Jam's coming out with a new album. And speaking of Pearl Jam, I hope that I've actually have my Pearl Jam vault in my hands by the time I do another Vinyl Finds video. I've been waiting on that one for a long time. I just pre-ordered that album when it came up for pre-order over the summer, and I got a shipping notification like in the middle of December. Finally saw movement like a week ago, so I'm probably hopefully realistically get it sometime within this week, but definitely looking forward to spinning that album. I also pre-ordered the new Billy Corgan, William Patrick Corgan album that recently came out. The vinyl supposedly supposed to come out in January 17th, I think, so definitely got a few things coming my way that I will hopefully have in my possession for the next Vinyl Finds video, but definitely will be searching for more things and looking forward to see what else pops up in that guy's collection. But that is all I have to say and show, and I hope everyone has a great day, and thanks again for watching.